Thank you.
Congratulations. I mean, there was big news this week.
Thanks.
$1 billion valuation for a company that you started 8 months ago called 01 AI, but in Chinese, it's even a more beautiful name.
Well, it means 零一万物, meaning 0 and 1, the binary digits, will bring about the genesis and the dawn of AI.
Okay, so what's the limits? At the moment, it's been 8 months. There are challenges, which we'll talk about. There are opportunities. But what kind of company do you want it to become in 5 years and then 10 years?
We want it to be a global company. That's why we open sourced our best model to date. And that's what we announced this week. It's a 34B model that is the highest performance open source model for a large language model, exceeding Meta's Llama 2 by a significant margin. We believe open source will bring the world together. We think research is always about standing on the shoulders of giants, and we want to contribute from which we took.
Is it an advantage or a disadvantage having the China tilt right now?
We have a lot of people who are American trained, a lot who are Chinese trained. We have a single goal, which is to make the best large language model and bring higher productivity and GDP to the whole world.
Have you applied for clearance from Chinese regulators to roll this out publicly yet? And what's the timetable for that?
We are just announcing the open source right now, and it's available globally.
Okay. Obviously there's a lot of talk about this whole, race between AI, between the US and China here. How do you see this all playing out overall, and what really is at stake right now?
I think the likelihood, given where things are, which is regrettable, is we have two parallel universes. American companies will supply their products and technologies to the US and other countries that want to use American products, and Chinese companies will build Chinese products for China and countries that will use Chinese products. So the reality is the American companies and Chinese companies are probably not going to compete all that much in the same marketplace.
But they'll probably have to compete on chip makers, right? So the US administration has said that some of the higher tech chips cannot be sold to Chinese companies. What does it mean for your company?
Right, we saw this coming, so we actually stockpiled a lot of NVIDIA chips. So we're in good shape for about a year and a half. And I think the jury's out whether in a year and a half, China can make equivalently or nearly as good chips. Time will tell.
And you're not just targeting China, but also global markets. I'm just wondering, how do you view the whole regulatory landscape right now when it comes to AI?
I think there clearly needs to be regulation because AI can be used in ways that are harmful. And I also think different countries will have somewhat different regulations, but hopefully there's enough commonality in them, so regulation is necessary. But also I think we shouldn't expect regulation alone to be enough, because a lot of these issues, hallucination, misinformation, harm, can and should be measured by technology. And we should let the technologists find a way to contain the technology, but not completely rely on them either. So it's really technology to provide the guardrail and detection and removal of harmful and illegal content, but working side by side with regulations.
At what point, do you think that it could actually disrupt innovation in some way? Are you concerned that the regulations could actually hurt innovation?
I think excessive regulation will hurt innovation, and I think we as a technology community are willing to take some hit and be slowed down somewhat for the good of humanity, but not so much so that will completely stifle innovation.
But how difficult is it? And this is one of the conversations that we try and have with policymakers. First of all, policymakers probably don't, or regulators don't understand how quickly or how slowly this comes compared to someone like you and your expertise. So what's the biggest mistake that they could do now?
Well, I think a moratorium would be a huge mistake. It's not enforceable. And it's not going to be effective. You have to let technology move forward. I think things that they should do are to promote letting technologists work on fixing hallucination and other problems. And I think they should use existing laws to punish those who misbehave. For example, for spreading misinformation, we have laws in every country on that already. Just use them. Maybe make sure the penalties are sufficient. way to stop people from doing bad things. And I think coming up with brand new laws is nice to think about it. At some point it will be needed, but I don't have a lot of confidence that any government can come up with a brand new set of laws. I think the existing laws are plenty good for, anti-terrorism and harm and misinformation and false advertising. I think we should use those first.
Okay, at the end of the day, who will use your products actually? Is it consumers? Is it going to be a consumer-to-consumer kind of product?
Well, our products will be platform and application. I very much believe this generative AI is not just about who can build a better model. We'd like to build the best model. We'll try to build the best model. But at the end of the day, it's really about building the right platform and a set of tools that will allow a proliferation of new applications built on AI, just like mobile internet and Android and iOS allowed mobile apps to be built, and PC and Windows allowed PC apps to be built. So it's an ecosystem play, and the best business opportunity is to build the model and the platform and the applications, and we have the ambition to do all three.
We've seen, the earlier part of the year, I think in China especially, right? If you had a company that attached anything to AI or mentioned anything about AI, the stock would just go nuts. Mm-hmm. That sort of AI frenzy, though, seems to have died down now.
Yeah.
What is investment sentiment looking like now?
Well, AI? I think globally, including China, is going through the typical Gartner hype curve, right? At the beginning of the hype, things go up through the roof and everything is so great, valuations are so high, and now people are a little bit into the disillusionment, saying, are the ChatGPT numbers down? Are DAU numbers down? And the investments more difficult? VCs are being more cautious. They think there can be only a few players, not enough great apps. This is very typical, but I think we're going to very quickly see a rebound because the value that is being created by generative AI is indisputable. We need to give a little bit of time for popular apps that create a lot of value or save a lot of money to be developed and for their value to be demonstrated. And once that is, the Gartner hype curve will show that we will rebound back and eventually be even higher than the original hype, because that's how big this revolution is.
So what excites you the most then about AI right now? And what's overhyped?
I'm most excited about the opportunity to improve productivity for all of humanity. I'm incredibly excited by the fact that AI can now pass the Turing test. And of course, that's a double-edged sword. And I'm incredibly excited that intelligent assistant agent interfaces are on the horizon, where we can give a specific goal we want to accomplish, and that AI will figure it out.
We're not being replaced, right? Anchors are staying.
A year ago, I would have said very safe forever.
Yeah.
Now I would say safe for a couple of years for most anchors, but the two of you are so good.
Safe.
Oh, you're
you
a
ought to be
sweet
safe
talker,
longer.
Kai-Fu.
You can come back.
Yeah. Kai-Fu, thank you.